Historically, racing has helped automobile manufacturers develop new technology for the cars we drive on the streets. Some 40 years ago, drag racers helped in the development of the Chevy small block engine, which is still used today. But now in the 90s, the drag strip is the testing ground for a different kind of vehicle power: electricity. The newest thing to hit the quarter mile is the electric drag racer. And while it is quieter and slower than the well-known nitro-powered dragsters of the NHRA, it is not without its improvements and innovations.
We've got some space-age contactors here with magnetic blowouts on them, and they're a special atmosphere inside of them to keep them from welding points together when you try to turn them off under power.
The major improvements have been in the high-powered motor speed controllers, but they weren't they weren't able to be developed until the IGBITs and MOSFETs, which are the transistors used in these controllers, were improved. And that technology's happened over the last few years. I've
got a motor and a hydraulic pump down here. This is all experimental, and nobody's really tried it before, and so we're doing it.
Times in the electric drag racers are dropping rapidly. Improvements are measured in seconds, not hundredths of a second.
They see something there and they say, gee, that's pretty good, but if he'd have just done this, it would have been better. So here's the guy's got an idea. I mean, every idea builds and builds and builds. Everybody that sees it has a little bit of a contribution to make to it, and eventually you got something good, you know.
An added bonus is the increased knowledge and interest of the electric dragsters as the future of passenger cars. The developments made in electric drag racing today could be the stepping stone for the passenger cars of tomorrow.
My personal goal and our company's goal is to, and the sport itself, is to make sure that eventually that no one ever thinks of an electric car as slow again. If we wipe that perception out of people's minds so that it's no longer an issue at all, no one will ever think that. I want people to think, oh, I don't want to race you on the street. You've got an electric car.
Still don't think electric cars can get it? Check out Thursday's Pert Plus Fast Fact, and we'll be right back.
Well, Dan Christopherson is joining us now with a look at sports. I wanted to talk about Jim Rome, but we're talking Seahawks. Right?
Yeah, well, Jim Rome, he'll be along, the shock jock. But, yeah, we got to talk football. He'd want to talk about football, wouldn't he? 3 games into the preseason, the Seahawks finally take on the look of a winner tonight. We will jet north to the Kingdom and to the Deep South for a college football touchdown dance that you have to see to believe. And you don't have to worry about these cars running out of gas on the Woodburn drag strip. They don't use any gas. It's pure electricity charging down the track. Loud, thundering power is what we expect from a day at the Woodburn drag racing strip, but today you could leave your earplugs home if you didn't mind a little bit of tire screeching. No one shut off the sound, folks. Those are electric cars having their annual day in Woodburn. The electrics can peak out at 3/4 of a megawatt, about 700 horsepower, and even the quickest gas-powered production cars like the Dodge Viper here can't handle that kind of juice. Today, the electric cars lit up the Vipers ever so quietly.
You hear the announcer, you have to look up, oh yeah. I mean, there's no huge smoky, squealy burnouts, no thundering headers, and no flame shooting out of stacks.
Drag racing, they'll work to knock 1/10 of a second off their time. Every year at this event, the times drop by a second or so. You know, if the people's cars from the year, we don't have a wall yet. We don't know our limit.
And it's just growing, they're saying. These electric cars are taking off.
Pretty amazing to watch.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Sticker on the door says Dempsey's World Record Associates. Now this little Mazda, for being electric powered, will show you some daylight under these front tires when it takes off. My, he carried the front tires about the first 60 feet. Had to get out of a little.